Welcome back, and today we are going to be playing out the J29A, and honestly I thought that this thing was going to be absolutely abhorrent to play, and it was, but it was not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. Now, does this have to do with the players or with the plane? Well, it's honestly a little bit of both, but it wasn't all that bad, although the plane still doesn't really have many hands, and the second you run into someone that actually knows what they are doing in a MiG-15 Biz, in an F-25, in an A5 Sabre, you are going to have some incredibly large issues. But this is of course normal considering we are at 7.7, and if you get updated whatsoever with that battle rating, no matter what plane you're in, you are probably going to eat shit because the compression is just so damn oppressive. Luckily, it is not all bad. The 7.7 matchmaker can leave you with some pretty nice games sometimes, and when you face a Pano at the very most, the plane honestly isn't all that bad. The firepower is pretty okay, so is the roll rate, and the maneuverability is about average. The issue comes from the fact that the engine isn't fantastic, the top speed and acceleration are pretty lacking, and when you then only have average to maybe slightly above average maneuverability and dogfighting capability, you are looking at a plane that really doesn't have many options. At 7.7, I think that the battle rating is basically perfect. The issue is that there are a lot of planes that shouldn't be here. The F-80C just got moved up, and that's a good thing because the F-80C in this thing is an absolute pain in the dick to fight. It has unlimited web, and in a 1v1 you can essentially do nothing but outrun it. It accelerates better, it outturns you completely, and energy trapping it just doesn't really work unless you are going like 200 plus kilometers an hour faster in the merge. And you can tell that I am simply flying around the map. I'm not really using verticality at all. I'm just going straight in and I'm shooting at people. Go ahead on with the F-84F. Really a non-issue altogether. That plane is just absolutely abhorrent. It might be able to outrun me if it has enough distance and maybe enough altitude, but goddamn, that plane is an XP pinata. And that's exactly what we do. We shoot him out of the air, he flies into an apartment building, kills little Timmy, and then we fight the last guy of this match. It's an A5 Sabre and he has just taken off. Now I have energy advantage, but we're near the AA. And this guy just taken off, so I'm expecting him to turn back. So I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive to bait him out. I do again have the advantage, but I want to be a little bit aggressive so that he doesn't run back to the runway and I actually get to kill him. Get annoyed by the 50 cals, a little bit of desync spray there. I'm not really sure if that's why he hit me, but it's annoying nonetheless. But now he is below me, he took the bait and I just get to dive on him for free. We squeeze the trigger, we hit basically the entire burst, saw his wing off, and down goes the last player. And those are the ideal matches where you get to fly around for free, you don't get contested, and you don't really have to worry about your positioning all too much. It's mostly about simply target prioritization and having a decent amount of aim. Something that we are lacking right now, and that's why we miss the F-84F. Now I tried to chase after him, I just want to get a kill on the board and I want to get the numbers down a little bit, because that's going to be very annoying later on in the match. But for now, we get a pretty easy shot, that's a severe, and we go and look for the rest of the lobby. MiG-15 Biz is, I'm just gonna take it, I don't want to deal with that. I can pull out last second there, but it's a MiG-15 Biz, I'm a little bit off his wingtip, the chances of him pulling in are pretty slim, so I'm just going to take it. I'm feeling suicidal today, but I need to be if I want to get results with this plane. If you try to play safe and take in absolutely zero risk, and we talk about this pretty frequently, you will eventually take more risk, because if you don't do anything to win the game in your favor, the second your team kind of vanishes, you are going to be completely done. G91 are 4, we are behind him, he is slow, our retention is pretty decent, his is not, but he is more maneuverable and he has more acceleration, but it doesn't really matter in the short term, because now I'm going 300, he's going about the same, he's flying directly in my gun sight. We again squeeze the trigger, hit the entire burst, and down goes player number 3. He is flying into one of those cocky pillars, and we are going to be flying towards the other side of the map, where the entire team is kind of just gathering, and I see this opportunity to start picking off the furball. But here comes the MiG-15 together with the Meteor. Now this MiG-15 is going to be an absolute pain in the ass. He's going to play it properly. And that's annoying, because when someone plays a good plane properly, when I'm flying the shitboat, I'm going to have a slight little issue. Meteor merges with me, MiG-15 flies away, and I'm now able to chase both of them, even though I might not be catching them. But I am flying into the same direction, and I'm on their 6. And this is a good place to be, because if they turn around to engage me, they have to turn around. It's going to cost them energy. And while it might not make me win the fight, it's definitely going to make it a little bit easier. Set the Meteor on fire, he is going to be done deal, and then we go for the MiG-15 and the Alpha Jet. Now there's also a VOW2 coming in the background, but he's a little bit far away. And I don't think he has necessarily been doing anything special, so I'm just going to be ignoring him for now. It doesn't look like he's going straight for me. Squeeze the trigger on the Alpha Jet, he is severed as well. He is going to be crashing. And then I 1v1 the MiG-15 bis, and I just get absolutely collapsed. There's nothing to show you. I dive on the dude. I'm on his 6. I had a bit of a clever setup to catch him off guard, but my teammate just kind of leaves me. And then it's 1v1, I'm on his 6, and I just overshoot because this plane is a shit bus. And he honestly played it well, so that is completely on him. GG. 2 F-80s. I was in a bit of a bad spot. But one of them is an F-80A, the other is an F-80C, and the F-80A is a plane that I can energy trap, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to go any more vertical. That will play into his advantage. He's very, very good at low speed, and even though the F-80A doesn't have the best engine, it is still a bit of a kite, and if I stall myself out in that kind of way, with 50 cals, it's very likely that he hits 12 to 50 rounds and just completely perforates my vehicle, and that's something that I would like to avoid. Now there is a third plane around somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where he is right now, but it doesn't really matter because I do think that he is flying towards the airfield. So even though I'm on the clock a little bit, and I do want to make sure that this guy explodes before I get to deal with the other one, I'm still kind of free to do whatever I want because I'm in an advantageous position in not necessarily the better plane, but for this situation I would rather be me than the F-80A. I do want to be careful to not get roped into a dogfight, so I'm just kind of securing my position onto a 6, and because he is so slow, eventually I'm just going to get a very easy shot. I'm just making this guy turn in front of me. It doesn't really matter where we go. As long as I stay behind him, I will have a pretty good position to eventually wear him down and get the kill. And that's exactly what we did. And here's a bit of a full game where we actually deal with a little bit of a multiple versus one scenario at the very end. I did kind of win because they were just playing it suboptimally, but it showcases the plane pretty well and really shows the limiting factor that it has. Now I see a teammate with 4 guys riding his ass, so I come in, and initially I want to kill the A5 because that's a very annoying plane to deal with. The A4s as well as the Meteor are all manageable, where even if they are piloted by the best player in the game, I still have options to kill them. With the A5 Sabre, this is a little bit more of a tragic story. But now I am above everyone, my teammates are killing everyone around us, and I should have a pretty easy time cleaning up this match. But then we run into the last 2 or 3 enemy players that just don't want to leave the airfield AA, and they are going to be rather annoying because these planes are good enough to deal with us. So I need to play this aggressively and try to keep my teammates alive so I can actually, well, win the game. We have a MiG-17 here, we have a Meteor here, and we have the A5 Sabre that is kind of distracted, and I should be able to hit this. The issue is that my plane just doesn't have the nose authority to really pull the nose around, and the A5 notices that I'm on a 6. He's going way faster, and he's just going to dive out and spiral towards the airfield, and I'm going to be losing a teammate here pretty soon. Now whether it's AA or him just baiting the AA and then turning back, I'm not entirely sure anymore, but you can tell that the A5 is really utilizing the SAM sites to make sure that we aren't able to kill them properly. Tu-14 gets killed by snap rockets, absolute aura farm, and then we re-engage the A5 after a little bit of flying away. And you can tell that I'm getting more aggressive. I am scared of 50 cals, but I need to merge with this guy and I need to be somewhat pushy if I want to get the advantageous position, because his plane overall is simply better. And I position myself so that he flies over me and that I start on his 6. But you can tell that it cost me all of my energy. And he still has some to spare. And he can just go either up here, he can go into a flat turn, and he can even just pitch down. But he does all three things at the same time. And this gives me a little bit of room to simply just dive away. Now he will catch me. He will start on my 6 and I need to reverse him while being much more maneuverable, so this is a little bit of a bad spot to be in, but considering he will run back to the airfield every time I get close with my nose, so this is a good spot to be in if I want to wrap up the game. Pitch into one direction, don't reverse your turn until you see that he starts to overshoot, and now I can switch my turn. He is going to overshoot, he's going a little bit too fast, we use some flaps, we use some throttle, and he just flies directly into my guns. But when you play like that, it's annoying to hit. Although not annoying enough when you kind of roll in place and make yourself really predictable. A4B shows up. We keep turning into the same direction. The A4B has no stern turn whatsoever, but there is the second A5. So we just spray in the head-on. We make sure to absolutely hose him, and we still have the ability to dodge the A4B, because again, the A4B isn't that much of an issue. We got some hits on the A5. A4B gets picked off by the MiG-17, and now it is just one guy left. But the MiG-17 is flying away. I am on the 6 of the A5, and hopefully this is not a player that will also run back to the airfield, so I'm trying to just stay behind him. For now, I will play it safe. I did hit him. Not entirely sure what kind of damage we did, but you can tell that he is going a lot faster than us. He's 1.8 kilometers away, and those shots are of course never going to be hitting, but a man can dream. We go for another head-on, and this time I noticed that he is not going all that fast, so I'm gonna try to pull for the lag here and see if I can dive back onto a 6 to catch him. And you can tell that I'm getting very close here, and I might be able to get a shot in and just no, he's just too fast. I went a little bit too vertical to play for position. He got too much separation. He's able to accelerate while I am losing speed in that turn. And he again flies back to the runway. And every time I turn around, he turns around for me again. So this time I'm going to be incredibly aggressive. And I'm going to try to actually dogfight him, fly up over his nose. He's going a little bit faster. I try to dip under his nose. He just hit my wingtip. But I'm actually in a pretty decent position to turn this around, and I'm now on his 6. If he tries to do anything, he dies at that point. He is not going fast enough. He's going a little bit too fast to make sure that I overshoot, and he's going too slow to actually outrun me, which kind of means you are simply stuck in my control zone. And then for the last clip of the day, as I wrap up this video, J2 that just took off. And yeah, you might have the better plane in every regard, and maybe except roll rate and guns. Well, the damage is definitely debatable, but if you are going 300, it doesn't really matter what plane you are in. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.